Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Oh, welcome to my channel. As you can see, I have out on my desk my collection of 6x6 paper pads. In case you're new to my channel, what I've been doing for the year 2026 is each month I'm picking a particular craft product to focus my videos on, and this month it was pattern papers, and we've done projects using 8x8 paper pads and 12x12 paper pads. So next up is 6x6 paper pads, and I got this storage container from scrapbook.com. I just put my 6x6 paper pads in here, and yeah, I definitely need some better organization to it so I can more easily find everything, but I just kind of put everything in for now. Might divide it up by who the papers are by, I don't know, but I wanted to show you my rather sizable 6x6 paper pad collection before we get started doing a variety of projects using our 12x12 paper, or I keep saying 12x12, 6x6 paper pads. Now if you don't have 6x6, you could cut down a 12x12 paper pad into 4 6x6 pieces, but since I have 6x6 paper pads, I am gonna go ahead and use them. So our first idea is we're gonna do an envelope, and you can use, like this one I used single-sided paper with, or you can use double-sided paper. And for this type of envelope, you can make it in any size. You just need to have a square piece of paper. A rectangular piece will not work. So we're just going to go from point to point and draw a line. And I'm sure you've seen many a YouTuber doing this project because it's kind of, everyone does it at some point. So we've got our little X. We're going to keep it on the, so it's triangle shaped, and we're going to bring in our two sides to the very center, which is why we drew our lines. So we're going to take that into the center, fold down the side, give it a good crease, bring in this one to the center, fold down our side, give it a good crease. Now for the top and bottom flaps, we're going to fold it up a little bit past the center. So it's going to go up a little higher than center. And again, we're going to fold that down. And then the same thing with this one. We're going to bring this a little bit past the center. And if you need to, you can open that back up to see what you're doing. Like so. Good crease. Now you're gonna want to decide which one's your top. That's my top. You need to erase your line. The rest of them you won't see once we glue everything down. Now for actually no, next step is, what will happen is you will create little triangles along here. You want to cut those away because it just adds extra bulk and makes it clunky, and it makes things a lot easier if you just cut that out. If you've got a notch punch, you could use a notch punch, but you just got to be careful. Like I was testing things out, and my notch punch makes notches that are a little too big for the 6x6 folded envelope. So I am just going to go ahead and cut away the corners like so. So you end up with it looking like that. So you're going to do all 4 corners. Now let's fold those back in. Let's fold that back up. I think I need to cut a little bit more off over here. Now, here you can either cut this piece off, or if you want to have a nice little finished edge, you can fold it down and then fold it back and glue it down. Either way is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now, if you want to ink edges, now would be the time to do so. Well, after you're finished doing the gluing right here. Like smoothing out the glue and took too much off. All right, let's push that down. And I think I am gonna ink edges. And I'm just grabbing some vintage photo distress ink. And I'm gonna go around all of our edges. Or at least the ones that are getting glued down, because it's gonna make things a lot easier. Now, another option is if you don't want to have such a sharp point here, you could come in and kind of curve that. Now we are going to glue on here to glue our envelope closed. Now for this part, again, I think I'm gonna round off the edge here. And over here, just kind of eyeballing it. And then what I like to do is take my corner rounder and round the tip, but you could leave that pointy. That's absolutely fine. And you notice on this one, I didn't do that extra step of rounding those edges. Whatever you like best is what you can do. And then just give this part a quick ink. And there you go. A punch board free envelope using 6x6 paper, and it creates an envelope that measures 4 1/4 by a little over 3 1/2. So there's idea one. Next idea, I'm gonna pull up our paper trimmer. Let's do some ideas that don't require the paper trimmer just yet, and we'll pull those up. All right, this is an idea I got from Gail Augustinelli, and I'll leave links down below. And what she did, and for closing it up, she just used a piece of ephemera. So this is from a Tim Holtz piece, and so I grabbed that out to show you on the one we're gonna do. And I just need to refresh my memory where we're full. Okay. I'm gonna grab my scoreboard just because it makes things a little easier. This is one, it's preferable if you've got double-sided paper because you are gonna see it, but we're basically creating like a tuxedo pocket. And so we are going to score at 1 1/2. And now, I think I like went. I swear there are some times where I don't think my scoring tool stays in the line all the way. So 1 1/2, and then you can either come in and do it at 4 1/2 on this side, or rotate your paper around and do it again at 1 1/2, whichever works best for you. Then we are gonna fold our sides and grab our bone folder. Interesting, this one overlaps not at all, whereas this paper one, they overlap just a smidge. But that's fine. So then we're going to take our corners and fold them back so that the corner comes to this edge. And do that again over here. And this is why having a double-sided paper works best for this, because you're definitely seeing both sides. I'm going to ink my edges just because I got a little heavy-handed and there's some white showing in some spots. Now, to close up our pocket, we're going to just put a line of glue along the bottom. And a piece of ephemera to go across like so. And I just thought of another option that you could do with this. So that is how we would close that up. Now another option is, instead of turning it into a pocket, you could have a piece of ephemera just glued on one side to kind of hold it closed, and then put like journaling paper on the inside to make a journaling spot. But there we go, there's a pocket. Next idea is going to use 2 pieces of paper, and we're going to create an envelope with a pocket. And this is an idea I got from Seven Plaza, and I just need to remember where our folds are going to be on this. So that's 2.5, and that's 1.5. All right. I don't even know what paper pad this paper's from. I just pulled out a bunch of papers to play with, and we're gonna do a score at 2.5 on one of the pages. Folded like so, and then 1.5 on the other page. And then they glue together like this. Is that right? Yes, okay. I want to round corners on the short fold. And then what we're gonna do is glue it together. So we're gonna glue up this side and up this side. You could glue along the bottom, but you don't really have to, because we're gonna glue up the other sides as well. And again, you can glue along here if you're worried you're gonna stick something in and it's gonna get caught somehow. Do that. And so there you go. We've got an envelope. Uh-oh. That needs to not be messed with a pocket at the back. These I actually already cut the pieces down. And so you're going to take your 6x6 and cut it down so that it's 4x6 for these guys. And then you've got 2 pieces left over. We're going to set those aside for now. And what we're going to do is take one of the pieces, decide which one we want as our base. I think I want that as the base. And just tear. We've got one pocket, and then you flip it over. So you definitely want to use double-sided. And you've got your second pocket, and this definitely needs its edges inked. And I think I'm going to grab ice spruce. And I like it with the rounded corners. So I think 3 layers is going to be too thick. So I'm going to glue one piece on and round the corners, because this spot's going to be tricky to round. Let's go in and round corners, I think. And then before I put this on, I'll do that. And we'll glue this pocket on. There we go. You got 2 pockets, and depending on how you glue it on a page, you could have another pocket or tuck spot. All right, let's pull out our paper trimmer and do some of the ones that require paper trimming. Now this one is gonna be fairly quick and easy. So let's start with it. I'm gonna cut the branding strip off so I know I'm at 6 by 6. And then I'm gonna cut it on the diagonal. Grab my scoreboard. And I am going to score at 1/4 inch on this side. Yeah, maybe we'll go, I think we'll be all right. Let's do this side first. And I think I'm gonna twist it around this way and score at 1/4 inch going this way. And let's do the other one as well. Now, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but you create a little square with your folds. You want to cut that away. And I'm going to cut a little extra to the side here. And do it like that. Mostly we're just getting rid of some of the bulk. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the paper, fold it over, and I'm just going to trim my excess off. And there we have it. And I did this, and now I'm remembering I need to cut a little bit more off. Actually, it might just fit because my journals are 5.5 wide, so that's just a little past 5.5. So probably I will cut this at the 5-inch mark. So that I know it will fit on a page in my journal as a corner pocket. I'll do the same thing with this guy. Now this is double-sided, but with the image on the other side, it wasn't going to work to like flip it and fold the other way, because that's an option too if you've got one that's not, you know, I don't know that I want a pocket with a partial butterfly like that. And it can go on a pocket like this, on a page like this, or like that. There we go. We've got 2 corner pockets with gussets. So when you go to glue it in your journal, you glue along these pieces and stick it on your page. And so it just gives you extra room in your pocket. Yeah, this is kind of a mass make in that we're doing a whole bunch of different ideas using our 6x6 paper pad. All right, let's cut off the branding piece on this one. I believe this is a Pad by Memory box, which I love plaids. And we're gonna cut it also on the diagonal. Now we're going to flip this over, and we are going to measure down from the center point. Let's go 2 inch. No, yes. Let's go 1.5 inches. Make a little mark. Then we're going to draw a line, and I'm using my mat to try and keep it straight across, and we're going to use that for our fold. So we're gonna fold over. Let's try and be straight in how we're doing things. Craziness, I know. We're gonna, and I'm using my ruler just to help with the fold. Could also score that, but I'm gonna fold that up like so. And that's gonna fold over like that. And then we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Let's scooch this over. Fold up. Fold it over like so. And because I was very gentle with drawing my line across, I'm going to come back in and just erase that. And I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to trim that little bit off and trim that off. Now let me grab some ink to ink it. I think I'll grab some Wilted Violet and I'll just go very lightly. Now, the reason I drew the line across is because when I just kind of randomly tried folding over, I didn't get it so that the center point was centered. So it looked all kinds of wonky. So this creates a pocket. This one creates one that's about 2 3/4 inches wide. This one, I think I went down to 2 inches and it creates a 3.5 inch. Like trying to figure it out so that we could do one that's wider since we've got extra pieces. Yeah, that's about 2 inches. Because yeah, this one, when I first folded it, I folded one side and then I brought this over and it was all kinds of wonky and didn't look right. So you definitely need to do the little line just to make sure everything looks nice and neat. So let's go ahead and glue our bottom piece down at the bottom. Now, you'll have 2 choices. You can glue along here and along the bottom, in which case you have one pocket. Or if you just glue along the bottom, you can tuck something in the front. So let's glue along the bottom on this. So you got one pocket here, but you also have a spot where you could tuck a little something in the front. So there's that one. Let's do this one at the 2 inch mark. So you can see how that looks. So again, I'm just gonna go in, make a little mark at 2 inches, kind of use my mat to line it up. Try and utilize the fact that we have a grid on our mat to help us make things straight. Craziness, I know. That one is not, that was not 2 inches. That clearly was not, that was shy of 2 inches. Because that makes a big old honking pocket. But you know what? We're just gonna go with it. So there's you can vary the size of your pocket by varying how far down you come from your point. So let's ink our edges again. And then since I still have the green, we'll do one that's between 2 inches and 1.5. So maybe 1 3/4 inches. We got this pocket measures 4 inches wide, and you can also come in if you want to and round that top corner. We got that guy. So let's try this one. And I'm sorry if there's glare. This was the ruler that I grabbed because it works well for folding over edges because it's fairly thin. Glue it together. You know what? I am going to ink the edges. Rustic Wilderness. Down here, so this time we'll glue that little tuck spot closed that we left open on the first one. Yeah, we got another one done. So the lower down you go, the wider your pocket's going to be. Obviously this one we went down 2 inches. That's about as far as you can go and still have them meet up, which I have a feeling I actually accidentally glued that completely closed. It might be okay. So I think, what did we end up doing? We did about 1 3/4. Gives you a good little pocket for that. And this ends up measuring 3.5 inches wide. This one's 4 inches, and then this one is 2 3/4 inches. So there you go. Got those pockets. Next, we're gonna do tags with pockets. So for this, you're gonna need 2 double-sided sheets of paper. We are gonna cut them both in half so that we cut them in at 3 inches. Then one of the pieces, and you'll have to decide which one. And then we're gonna cut 2 inches off, or cut one of the strips into 2-inch pieces. 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches. I'm gonna grab a 1.5 inch circle punch. You could also, like on the sample one, I use a notch punch, and find my center and punch a little notch in. All right, now let's bring back our tags. I've got a old gift card that I've created, made into a tag top template. So let's go ahead and cut our tag corners on everybody. Probably can go ahead and do all 3 at once. There we go. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 tags. Now, since I don't want to use the same, I don't want it matching completely, I'm going to flip that over, and that worked out pretty good because you got the cute little bunny and little chick down there. And then that's going to go like that, and that one's going to go like that. And I do want to ink edges so that the pocket stands out a little more. I'm just trying to decide what color I want to do. I think I'm just going to go vintage photo. Now you could do it this way and just ink the edges and have it stand out, but I kind of like having, you know, something that's a little different and not have it all be one paper. And then it's just a matter of gluing on the pocket. And then I tend to like to round the bottom corners, so we'll do that. Start with this one, which has had a little bit more time to dry, and we'll round the bottom corners. So there we go. 2 sheets of paper creates 3 pocketed tags. All right, this is an idea I got from Gail Augustinelli, and I actually have 2 sets to give a try to, and I think she got it from someone else. But what you need is 3 sheets of paper. They can be double-sided or single-sided. And these were actually my variations on the one she did. This is going to be done just the way she did it, and you'll understand why in a minute. All right. Because yeah, this is a single side paper. My sample ones are using double-sided, and this paper that I grabbed out is a double-sided paper. So I can do the variation with the double-sided, not with the single-sided. And we are going to cut these pieces into 3-inch wide pieces. So we're going to cut them in half. I'm going to move this out of the way, but we're going to need it back in a minute. So we need to decide which pieces are going where. I think because the pattern goes all the way to the top on this one, we're going to make this our base for this set. Then we'll do this one and this one. And then for this guy, we'll use that as the base. That is the second layer. And that is the bottom layer. I think that'll work. We'll see in a minute. So for this one, what you need to do is take your base piece, get set aside. First piece you pull over and you measure up from the bottom 4.5 inches. Make a little tick mark. And then you cut from that point to that point. So from where you made your mark, you cut on a diagonal to the top corner. So that's our first pocket. Now this guy needs to be cut down first to 4.5 inches, and because I've got patterning on the bottom, I'm going to cut that bit off from the top. And then you measure up from the bottom 2.5 inches. Like so. And cut from that bottom corner to the top corner again. Or from where you made your mark to the top corner. Wait, I can talk, really I can. So we've got this one, and then we layer this one on, and then we layer this one on. And so we've got a stacked pocket. Now I think the one gal showed, she did stitching, and what, if you're gonna do that, and you want to have stitching on these pieces, you're going to need to take them to the sewing machine now, stitch along here, then assemble it, and then stitch all the way around the exterior so that you can keep your pockets open. I'm not going to do that because, one, I don't know that I can get to my sewing machine right now. My craft space is such a disaster area. And two, I'm trying to get this project done fairly quickly, and not everyone has a sewing machine. So I'm going to ink these edges, and I can go around and ink the outside edges later, but the tops of the pockets you're going to want to ink before you glue it together because it's just so much easier to do it when they're separate pieces. So let's glue this one. Now if you wanted to make this a bigger pocket, you could glue it like that so it's more of a tuck spot and not glue along this edge. I'm gonna glue this all the way up. This one we're gonna glue on as well. And this one I'm actually gonna leave that open. So I'm just gonna glue the two sides. And so with this side all the way open, you can put something wider in, and then this side's closed up. And I actually am going to round our corners because I just really like that look. This is, of course, completely optional. There we go. There's option one. This, we're going to do the same thing again. Now, let me just see what happens if we go to 4.5, we cut. I think that's gonna work. We're gonna mark this one. I am gonna go ahead and mark this one, but I'm gonna do a little bit of a twist on this one. I'm gonna flip this over, I'm gonna make my mark at 2.5 on this side. Let's get the paper trimmer out and you'll understand in a minute. With this one, we just need to cut from our mark to the corner. This one, again, we're gonna cut off from the top and cut it down to the 4.5 inches. But since we did our mark on this side, we're gonna cut our corner going from this point mark to that side. So our pocket is going to be going in the other direction. And I'm just realizing now that I should have done this the other way around. Okay, I'm changing my mind, and that's mostly because the pattern on this page goes up higher on this side than this side, because if we cut here, this will be what's cut away, and so we won't get to see as much as that. So we're just gonna change our mind. There's that one done. Now for our variations using double-sided. And so the variation is to add yet another pocket on there so that you've got 1, 2, 3 pockets. And you'll notice I cut going at different angles so that you can have them alternating. So let's start by cutting these guys in half. Take a second and decide what we want as our base piece. That's going to be one of the base pieces. I think this is going to be one of the shorter diagonals so we can keep the bird. And then let's do this one as a base piece. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So for this one, let's go ahead and cut this down to 4.5. I want to keep this side, so I'm going to mark on this side. Actually, let's just flip it over because it'll be easier. So we've got the little birdie. That's cute. Then let's see, do we want that behind? That behind. Actually, I think I may use that as a base. So that and that. I think we'll go, yep. All right, so this one we're gonna mark at 4.5. Oh no, it's the same way. Could do it like so. Don't love that together, but we can put that one over there. So what I want to do on this one, all right, let's cut this down. No, keep it the same size, sorry. Had a brain freeze right there. All right, so I want to cut this way. So let's measure our 4.5 on this side. Oh no. There we go, solved that problem. So there's that pocket. And then this one we need to cut down to 4.5. This one we managed to do it as well. So we've got them zigzagging instead of all on the same side. Now, here's the other variation. We got a bunch of corners cut off. So let's take a look at what we've got corner-wise. All right, that, not so much. That's not bad. Or we could do, ooh, I kind of like that. So that's option 1. Let's see what other corners we've got. That's not gonna work. That matches. That matches. So I think we're gonna go with that corner. Let me grab some ink. Grabbing tumbled glass, stress oxide, and we are going to ink all of our edges and then glue these guys together. So we've got the pocket back here. I glued this on so that it is a tuck spot so that you have more space. And then you got a pocket in the front. And then this one's got the zigzags as well. So there's that idea. I think I've got 3 more ideas to show you. Let's hopefully move it along a little quicker. All right. Next one is going to use 2 pieces of 6x6 paper, and we're going to cut them down to 4 inches. Just trying to decide which one I want to do. Alright, I think we're going to do that. Now we're going to cut down this piece to 4 inches. This piece to 4 inches. And we're going to take our circle punch again and mark our center. And oddly enough, I think ice spruce would work with this. So we're going to use that to ink our edges. Now this, you can vary how high you want it, or you could do 2 separate pockets, although with this color, that's not going to work. But we're going to do stacked pockets towards the bottom. Because yeah, the second side on these guys didn't work as well for doing this as like this guy. That's the back of this, and then the other piece. So what I'm gonna do is decide exactly where I want that the back pocket to be. I think I like it there. And this guy's gonna go here. I'm gonna just make a little mark with my pencil and put glue here and then here. Ooh. And then put this guy on like so. Make sure they're even. And then what we'll do, now you have 2 options. You could glue along here and make, no, you can't glue along there because that would close that pocket. You could glue along here and have this pocket be a shallower pocket, or you can just glue down the sides and all around and have this pocket go all the way to the bottom and that pocket, and that's what I think I'm gonna do. So yeah, if you wanted the back pocket to be shallower, you'd run a line of glue on over here. Only want to round corners on this one. It's Minte paper, so it's a little thicker. So yeah, didn't love that, but yeah, I like that. That gives us a pocket back here that goes all the way to the bottom and a shallower pocket there. And we do have this piece left over. I didn't do anything with the leftover piece from the last one, but this one I'm thinking what I may do is, let's grab out our paper trimmer real quick. Oop! Sorry for bumping you. Take off an inch, so it's 3 inches. Option 1. Option 2. Option 3. Or do it as a side tack, option 4. I think I'm gonna do this, because then we can decorate on here. I don't know. I'm torn. Because this makes a really nice contrast. I really kind of like that. All right, so we're going to glue this on as a belly band. Tag corners. So now we have a tag with a belly band. Oh, I like that. All right, so we are going to cut these 2 pieces. I got 2 6x6 in half at 3. We are going to tag cut all of our corners. I'm noticing these aren't exactly perfectly 6 inches, because when I cut them in half at 3, there's a little overhang on this. So let's do that. That on these 2. Check our measurement on this guy. That's perfectly 3. So is this a little shy of 3? Is that what our problem is? It's a hair's breadth shy of 3. What we're gonna do is line these up and just use our scissors to do this. And the only reason I'm worrying about it for this one is because we want these guys all to line up right for this project. All right, so what we are going to do is decide which one we want for the front. I think I like this one for the front. So we're gonna set that guy there. This one's gonna come next. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some washi tape. We're gonna hinge these guys together. Here, and I'm gonna add glue here in a sec. And this is, I believe, a Crafty by Tony washi tape. And let's do one in the middle, just to be on the safe side. And then we're gonna fold it over. All right, so let's put a little glue, because washi is not intended to be permanent. And so if you want it to stay, you need to add a little glue. I've done this one before on my channel. I think probably in 2024 is one of my mass make projects for Mass Make Mondays. We've got that guy. Now, to reinforce our hinges, I am going to put washi on the other side as well. But I think, because I have a feeling this is getting really ridiculously long, I'll do that off camera. But, so you've got 1, 2, 3 tags, 4 tags, and then you can go back this way. And you can always stick like coffee dyed paper in the inside and have hidden journaling spots and lots of space to decorate. So there's that idea. One more idea. It's another one I got from Gail Augustinelli, and she got it from somebody else, but I don't remember who. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to take our one piece and our scoreboard. And I'm not going to bother scoring since we're just cutting it in half, or scoring it in half. I'm just going to use my scoreboard as a place I can push my piece of paper up to help fold it in half. Then we are going to go up 3 inches. Gonna make a little mark. And for this one, I am going to use a ruler and my Fiskar fingertip blade. And we're cutting through just the one layer. So let's line it up, and we're going to cut to our score line. So since the score line's a little hard to see, I'm gonna mark along there. And so just to our score line. So we've got that piece and this piece. Then I'm going to cut going up here, and I think I'm just going to use my scissors for that, because I can cut easily enough using the score line. Now you could actually just fold it over. Why didn't I do that with this one? Why did I cut it off and glue it on? I don't know why I decided to cut it off and glue it on instead of just making the one cut across. I have no idea. All right, let's not do it. Let's not make things more complicated than they need to be. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my notch punch. And, woo, knocking things over. Let's make a mark at our halfway point. Grab my scorched timber. All right, we've got notches. We are going to ink the edges, and on this side we are going to glue this down as a pocket. Now we're not going to glue this because this is what's going to get glued onto the page. Let's ink the bottom edge here and along here so we can hide any mess. So let me grab a piece of paper and I'll show you what I mean. All right, so in your journal, you would glue it on like so as a little pocket on the page, and then you have this as a flip out. And what I think I'm going to do for this one is put a bit of coffee dyed paper on there. Let's ink our edges as a hidden journaling spot. There we go, and it'll go on. Now, you've got a couple options. You could glue it on a page like so as a pocket, kind of like midway down, and have it flip out like that. Or you can do it around the page so that this guy flips out and it's glued on as a pocket over here. Because I've got a little bit of cracking, let's ink that to hide that. All right, so I am gonna have a bit of a cleanup and then we will recap what we did today. All right, so we made 11 projects using 6x6 paper pads. We made a regular envelope. We made an envelope with a pocket. We made a pair of corner pockets. We made these little like faux envelope-y pockets. We made tags with pockets. We made a layered pocket. We made a ripped layered pocket. And we made diagonal layered pockets in 2 different forms. We made a bonus tag with a belly band from the leftover piece from doing that one. We made a tuxedo pocket. We made a hinged tag with 4 tags that used 2 pieces of paper. And then we did this flip out pocket piece. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that lets YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.